Welcome to Dig Inspiration, a quick recap where we dig deeper into the story behind the story. In each bite-sized episode, I'll revisit key moments from our incredible guests, highlighting the most inspiring parts of the stories that they share. And today, we're dropping a quick reflection on some of the most memorable parts of my talk with Claire Ferrari at Verizon. So, key point number one for me from this talk is that as an industry, we need to do better with accessibility and ensuring that the ways that we engage with respondents and collect data, that it allows us to be truly representative of the population. And what struck me in talking with Claire is really this appreciation that we are an ecosystem in this industry, right? We're an ecosystem of tools, technologies, consulting perspectives, and together, we need to take steps forward to improve accessibility, even if it's one step at a time. So I was just left really inspired. I applaud people like Claire and companies like Verizon and others that are involved in the Accessibility Consortium. They're leading the charge and bringing together a group of companies, many of whom are direct competitors. It's not a simple thing to do, but they are doing it because as an industry, we have to do better. So at DIG, we're really proud to be part of that consortium. But I was really just struck by this appreciation for it takes the entire industry. And again, congrats and bravo to leaders like Verizon and others that are requiring that we do better as an industry. And the second point I was reflecting on, and I think some of this is because at DIG, we recently acquired Ignite 360, which is a firm that has really deep roots in empathy. So I've got empathy on the brain right now. And I was thinking more about why accessibility matters. And I think about it from two perspectives. It matters to brands because when you deeply understand your consumer circumstance and you really immerse yourself in where they're coming from as a human being, you're going to be able to better connect with them. You're able to develop products, services, marketing messages that will resonate with them deeply and ultimately influence their decisions to interact with your brand. So that's why brands care about it, right? About that deep connection to their consumer. And when brands do that, how does that feel as a consumer? It feels like this brand gets them. This brand understands their unique circumstance and has connected in a meaningful way. And to me, that's the ultimate win-win, where consumers feel understood and brands are chosen because of that understanding. And I think that's what speaks to me the most about accessibility. It's not just checking a box that you're inclusive, but it's what you do with that inclusivity that really matters. And the third point is how can you make that actionable? How can you turn all the talk around accessibility into tangible tactics? And that is what the toolkit does that Claire mentioned. It says, here's how you should select a partner. Here's how to evaluate a platform. It turns the theoretical philosophies and thinking around accessibility into tangible action steps. And I really loved how Verizon leveraged that thinking with its intern program, right? To learn about what are some of the small things that they could do to improve accessibility within their own team meetings. Things like I'm showing an image on a PowerPoint slide, but how can I describe that imagery both so that those that are visually impaired as part of the meeting can take away the intent of that image, but also there are people that are joining by phone or might have a sketchy internet connection. And so, providing that extra description actually helps those participants as well as those that are visually impaired. So I just thought it was a really great example of how something quite simple can be very meaningful and a great example of actionability on some of these thoughts around accessibility. Well, that is your DIG inspiration recap for the week. We would love to hear your takeaways and thoughts on this conversation. Please join this conversation around accessibility. Visit the link in the description and leave us a comment.